I'm going to be speaking in English. I can speak in French, but I can say more stuff when I say I speak in English. French, in order to speak in French, I have to make those really big phrases, sentences, and I can just say more when I speak in English. So I guess everyone is okay with me speaking in English. So let's go. So I'm Elaine. I lost the first slide where there was the title of my talk, but that's okay. I will be talking about integrating Android app actions in a Flutter app. So this is me. I work at Sphere. I'm a senior staff engineer for mobile. I come from Android actually. I've been doing Android development for a few years, and I've been doing Flutter development for 4 years, I guess. And what I didn't say, I think on the, I don't know if everyone read the, oh, I should be speaking on the mic, right, for the other room, I guess, yes. What wasn't saying on the presentation of the meetup is that I'm also I'm a GD for Flutter, but I'm also a GD for the Google Assistant. And so basically all the developer tools for developing for the Google Assistant. So today I'll be talking about how to basically mix Android with the Google Assistant with Flutter. So before starting, there's some basic definitions that I wanted to review with you. First of all, the Google Assistant. So the Google Assistant, everyone knows from the Google Home, the Nest devices. It's Google's virtual assistant. It's a piece of software that is present on Nest devices, on Android phones, on iOS phones through an iOS app, iPhones. But it's also available on speakers. Maybe some of you have Google Assistant enabled speakers and headphones. And then we have Actions on Google. Actions on Google is the developer platform for working with the Google Assistant. I'm going to talk about a little bit more history on the next slide, but there has been some recent changes around Actions on Google. If you use Google Assistant, and maybe even here on this audience, you're working for a company that has made custom conversational actions. I know that a lot of French companies, Carrefour, Sephora, they have made conversational actions. They are actually being deprecated this year. Only system Google enabled APIs like getting the weather, getting the news and stuff like that will be available on the Google Assistant. And conversational actions are not going to work anymore, I think, until June of this year, 2023. But one piece of software that is really important for conversational actions, which is Dialogflow, which maybe if you don't know it, it's transforming some intent, some queries, phrases, into parameters that we can use as developer in order to do some interesting stuff. You of Actions on Google as well, but now is part of the GCP, the Google Cloud Platform. But there are some other aspects of Actions on Google as well, such as app actions, integrating Google Assistant with Android, and also smart home for speakers and devices for a smart home. So as I said, app actions is actually the glue between Android and the Google Assistant. Android, of course, everyone knows is an operating system, and Flutter, of course, everyone here knows it's a portable UI toolkit that works everywhere that has a screen. I think a lot of people, when they think about Flutter, of course, Elia talked about that earlier, you know that it's working, of course, on Android, on iPhone, but it's working on the web, Windows, Mac, and etc. everywhere that has a screen. So just a little bit of background history, so you just see where we're coming from. So actually, Google Assistant was announced quite some time ago, in 2016. Google Home launched later that year, and then the developer platform launched at the end of 2016. And then the actual integration of Android with the Google Assistant, it was on developer preview for quite some time, since 2018 until 2020. So this integration between the Google Assistant and Android, 2018, 2020. And then it got released in 2020. I was really happy. I was doing a lot of talks about that because I'm really excited since I'm an Android developer and I also like the Google Assistant. I did a lot of talks about those. And 1 year later, Google decided to change. I guess it made sense to change a little bit the APIs, the way that we integrate those app actions in order to work better, basically, with Android, with the existing ecosystem. So they changed the way it worked. And in 2021, we had the V2, the version 2 of the app actions that have actually gone on general availability like 2 months ago. So the shortcuts way to talk with the Google Assistant. And just so you have in mind, I put this, of course, is not all of the Flutter timeline, but you can see right when Flutter was launched, the 1.0 here in December of 2018, where it was located in relation to the Google Assistant timeline. And of course, we had the Flutter 3.17 in January 2023. So let's go to the demo. I actually am going to start by showing you how it's going to work on a real app, and then I'm going to show you how it works. I have carefully picked an open source project that is really dear to my heart because it's I think it's a really cool project by the French, not community, it's an association that it's based in Paris. And they have a lot of open source projects, and the latest one that they have developed is using Flutter. So this is what I'm going to be using as a demo. It is, I haven't seen, maybe he's on the other room, but I know that Edouard right here, he's a contributor to this project. And it's the app gives you information about open information about food that you consume, if it's healthy, if it's not, related to your food preferences, and you can look and scan a barcode of a product and getting basic information about the food. So I have prepared 2 videos to show you how to, from the Google Assistant, launch something on Flutter app through Android, of course. It's a Flutter app that is working on Android. Hopefully the video is working, yes. So I'm really sorry the quality is not that good, but I'm using here the Google Assistant. So you can see I just queried here the Google Assistant. I said open history on open food facts. So what this did was, I'm going to play it again. Is I'm launching the Google Assistant either by saying OKG, the hot word, or by doing some kind of gesture. And you can see that through the Google Assistant, I was able to launch, not only launch the Android app, but to go to a specific screen. So basically deep linking. And then the other video is, again, I'm using the Google Assistant, and I'm saying look up chocolate, so basically doing a search on open food facts, and then it opens and it does the query chocolate right here through the Google Assistant automatically. Of course, I used the keyboard for demo purposes, but I could have used my voice too. I try it out. You can try it. I have the phone right there. Hopefully it's still working. And so you can see how it worked really nice. You see there was a little bit of delay. I was doing a debug build, and then for this, and I had to add some delay because, you know, for running the debug builds on Flutter, they take a little bit more time to launch. But this was with a released build. This is why there was a little bit of a delay. So yeah, so this was the thing that I'm going to show you today, how it works. So this is the basic schema of things, how they work. So the user, that's me, I ask for something to the Google Assistant directly. And then there's some kind of configuration that I'm going to show you how it works on our Android app, and then something happens on an Android app. But of course, we know that we have an extra step here because our Android app is actually made with Flutter. So, so we have this extra thing here that is talking with the Flutter interface. And then we're going to be making communication with the Android side is going to communicate something to the Flutter side. So we're going to be using some kind of communication. So as Leah was saying, there's a lot of work being done to do some code generation to be able to call in a more maybe easy way the Android the native API, so with GNiGen. But today, what I used for my demo was platform channels. But there's also some news there, because platform channels today, those channels of communication between the Android, between native and Flutter, they work on the main thread, so on the UI thread. So if you have heavy stuff going on, if you're streaming data, stuff like that, it would be really bad for your app. You have performance issues. And I know that the Flutter team is working on making available those platform channels through isolates. So it's still a work in progress, but it will be really cool to be able to launch those platform channels on an isolate. For the demo of today, for integrating with app actions, I don't think it's necessary. You can do it on the main thread, but for other specific needs, you can do it on an isolate. In order to, so you saw that between the Google Assistant and Android, you have some kind of configuration. In order to build that, you write that configuration file, you have to think about what your app does and what Google has done for us in order to integrate with the Google Assistant. So these are what we call the built-in intents, are the intents, so basically the features or the capabilities of your app that you can integrate with the Google Assistant. So you see that there are three kinds of intents. The common ones that every app does, like open app features, creating something, getting barcode, really general stuff. Then you have vertical intents, for games, shopping, health and fitness, exercise, stuff like that. Or if you'd like, you can comply with an API and do your custom intents. But today, what you saw, what I did when I said open history, I was using the open app feature intent. And for the searching for something, I was using the get thing intent. Before showing how it works, the configuration, how you do it, you can take a look real quick here at the DOP developers. There are actually a lot of apps that are using app actions, but maybe here in France, you have not heard that much about app actions. You can see a trend here on this, on people that are using app actions. They are almost all US-based companies, or they are like Spotify. They're not US-based, but they are available everywhere. There's only one thing that one company that I have seen here that is not US-based. It is iFood. iFood is actually a Brazilian company that I know, so it's really cool to see. I think it's the only one that I see that is not either US-based or a worldwide company. And there's a reason that why we don't talk about that much about app actions in France. I'm only going to show you the docs for open app feature and forget things. Because the thing is, since we have to get the query from a natural language, every locale has to be supported. And you see right here on the open app feature, there is, I think, one of the most interesting features, because every app basically can use it. You can see that it's available in English and Spanish for Spain and in Brazilian Portuguese. So hopefully they will add French or German, Italian in feature. And for the get thing, intent is only available for American English and Brazilian Portuguese. So if you'd like to try it out, have in mind that basically everything is available in English. You have Spanish and Brazilian Portuguese for some other built-in intents. Then you saw that between the Google Assistant and Android, in order for them to talk, basically what you have to do as an Android developer is that you have to create this file called the shortcuts.xml file. So this is what it looks like for the Open App feature. Each built-in intent corresponds to a capability here on the app, on the XML file. So basically you say here, my app does this. This is the built-in intent. There are two other ways, I think, of communicating back to Android the values that are going to be retrieved through the Google Assistant. I have chosen to do basic deep linking, so saying, okay, when the Google Assistant is detecting an open app through my app, please call this with the name of the feature. And then right here, under the shortcut, I will have as many shortcuts as I would have features that I would like to deep link. So right, as you saw, I had the history feature. So this is how I can make the configuration with an ID, a label. Of course, I have the key to the Open App feature, and then the binding to say the name of the feature is history, or if you have maybe if you want to do the same thing for the preferences page, so you have to have exactly the same block here down with preferences here. Have in mind here, this is a bad practice, what I have done right here. Because on the docs, actually on the examples, they provide here arrays of synonyms that you could give to your user to be able to express themselves freely, so you can catch a maximum amount of users that are actually asking for the feature. Maybe someone calls the history maybe a list of products or something like that, so you should have that in mind, yes? And then here you can see the configuration that you need to do in order to implement the getThing intent. You see the difference here is that I don't have to put the synonyms to the name of the feature, because this is a really, the Open App feature needs some further configuration, because Google doesn't know about the name of the features of your app. But right here, getThing, it's getting something. This something is going to be retrieved by Google Assistant and then passed through the name right here. So I only have to say, okay, my apps, there's some kind of search. It can give stuff, basically, and then you just put here what the name of a package is, and you can put in also the class that would be receiving these parameters. If you're doing a basic Flutter app, is going to be the main activity, because if you're not doing much native code, this is the only native class that you have to do, that you're going to have. Then you do some basic configurations. Every Android developer knows this is what you have to do in order to support deep linking, basically, on Android. And then you have to declare where your shortcuts file is on the Android manifest file. Then, as I said, I did the communication back to Flutter to method channels. So I have two method channels, one for the feature, which is only the history feature, and one for the getThing, which are called a search feature. It's basically declaring a method channel, and then the Google Assistant will give to Android some information through an intent. Basically, Google Assistant is going to launch your app with the intent, and then basically you're getting this intent here. If we launch, on the example, remember I said open history on Open Food Facts. Right here, the name of the feature name, a variable right here, would be called history. And then I would simply invoke a method. This function right here is going to be triggering something on the Flutter side that we're going to be seeing just after. And then the same for the search term. You have right here, the name is going to be the search term. When I said look up chocolate on Open Input Facts, chocolate would be retrieved right here, and then I will evoke the meta channel, search feature channel with this parameter. And then on the Flutter side, this is actually the only slide that is has very, very few codes of Dart here, but this is how you retrieve back the information that was sent from the Android side. So here, basically the same ID that I have declared here on Android, I'm going to be actually listening. So basically this is Android sending something to Flutter. So Flutter is actually waiting for this to be called. And then if the call method is history, you have to put the code to go to your history screen. And then if the method channel that was triggered is search feature, you basically call your search feature with this, yes. Then again, so this, just so you see, I saw all of this code was made to make this available. So really few lines of code, only some configurations. I'm going to skip this, it's okay, you already saw. But before publishing your app, of course, you have to test. You saw that I was really using the Google Assistant on my real phone, logged with my real account. And they're testing it. It's kind of, it's not hard, but you just have to keep in mind that there's stuff going on the background. And to actually link everything, basically linking Android with the Google Assistant, it goes through the Google Play. So in order for this to work, in order to test the app before publishing it, there's a tool that you can use, it's available, there's a plugin available for Android Studio. But in order for it to work, you have to be logged in on Android Studio, have your app available on Google Play. It doesn't have to be published, you can only publish on an internal, internal. And you have to be logged in. You have to be logged in on Android Studio, on the Google Assistant on your phone, and on Google Play. All of these three places you have to be logged in with the same account for it to work. So when you have everything up and running, you can install an Android Studio plugin, which is called the App Actions Test Tool, which basically simulates what is going on through the Google Assistant. And this is what I have done in order to work. And when I create a preview, you basically create a preview for your app action, and then you can use it on your phone or copy the ADB. There's an ADB command that you can do, or just click the button and you would send the command to the device that is connected to your computer. App actions allow us to basically launch features through the Google Assistant, but it also allows us to do more on Android, just like we can provide Android widgets for the Assistant to display, if you'd like. And also something that is really interesting, you can, on your Android app, use something called the in-app promotion SDK from Android to promote the voice shortcuts to your users. So you can say to your users, hey, I have this shortcut that you can launch to the Google Assistant, and you can do more nice and quick stuff through that, which is really nice. And then just a final word. I know this is, I haven't actually earlier, how many of you are Flutter developers or have some experience with Flutter? And native developers? I know native developers, iOS developers right there. And this talk, I talked about a lot of Android APIs and how you can actually integrate them on your Flutter app. So yeah, final word, we saw that Flutter is great, always getting better. We have so many great news that are coming from the Flutter team and the community, which is awesome. You have seen here that it's really easy to integrate something that is coming, that is made available from Google, from Android on a Flutter app. It is not, Flutter is not making things hard to integrate with native app APIs, such as App Actions, but others too. And now for all of you that are only doing Flutter and don't know a lot of native stuff, I saw the Android manifest XML. We didn't see here, but there's the Gradle configuration on iOS. There's all the plist configurations that you have to do, all the configurations of the code. Don't be afraid. Really try to learn how it works and how an Android app works too, all the lifecycle stuff. And for all the native devs, you saw here that the majority of the code that I show here today was actually Kotlin, was not Dart. So I think tomorrow, even if we have basically a team of Flutter developers, it's really, really important to have basic or even advanced native knowledge in order to do stuff like this. And native developers, of course, they have a really big and a really important role to play in the Flutter world. Took the picture, cool. So yeah, so that's it for me. Thank you very much.